Fast drafting my work in progress day 3. I am recording this video in the morning. I have not started writing yet today, so I don't have a word count update for you, but I wanted to mention one of the unexpected benefits of this fast drafting process, because what I didn't realize was that it would actually fire me up. I've always loved writing, but I allow myself to get distracted too easily, and that had become quite a problem because I put off my manuscripts and I put them off and I put them off, and I would end up getting to a point where I was frustrated with my progress and I felt like I should have a deadline, but I was foundering. So, what has happened with Battleborn Bride is that I spent some time cleaning up my outline. I have the dates that I want to include in the story pretty much nailed. They're all written into my timeline. I also have a separate, or excuse me, my outline. I have an outline, but I also have a timeline because the outline is dealing with the fictional components of the story, but it gives me the dates. And then I have a specific timeline written up of things that happened on a global or at least a national scale in the time period when the book takes place. So when I wake up in the morning, I feel like sitting down and writing right away. And that is something I haven't felt for a long time. I'm actually really excited to work on this book. And part of that, of course, is that I am playing with history and I do love me some history. So I mentioned during my comfort reads video that I enjoy reading Regency romances. And maybe a large part of that is because I love history, or maybe I love history because I started reading reading Regency romances. I will say JT and I just did our morning podcast for the week. It is Sunday, March 22nd, 2026. We're alternating our weekly podcasts for the CC and JT Amateur Hour, where he and I sit down one week and then the following week we post an interview with another author. But we had coffee. And I haven't had regular coffee for a couple of weeks, so I'm afraid I'm a little jazzed. Anyway, I'm only explaining that because I start talking faster, and that's why. I did a half and half decaf, half regular, and I'm not sure if that's going to come back to haunt me later today. That can be another video sometime in the future. Anyway, going back to fast drafting my work in progress, I'm very excited to work on Battleborn Bride right now. I have so many ideas going in my head. As I was working yesterday, I was having periods of time where I was lagging in energy. And in the past, I would have just said, oh, never mind, I'll get back to it tomorrow. But since I have given myself this 2-week deadline, I was like, no, I can do this for a little bit longer. It's only for a short time. And then I can go and do other things. And the other thing that is happening is that JT and I have started taking evening walks together. So I'm not having dinner at 5 o'clock and going to sit in my recliner for the rest of the night. We're having dinner. I go back to my work in progress for an hour. And then once I'm done with that, we go out and we take a stroll. So we are switching up our routine a bit. And I think it has really helped me focus more on what I'm doing. I was doing 20-minute writing sprints with 10-minute breaks. During my break, I would get up, turn on my watch, and walk around the house for 10 minutes. So, that way I stretched my body and got the blood flowing. I wasn't just sitting there for hours on end, which I can do. I have done that in the past where I'll start writing and I forget the time and then it's hours later and my body is not happy with me. So, definitely taking shorter breaks more often is the way to go. So I am so far seeing a lot of benefits to this fast drafting process. I mentioned in last night's video, which was late and I was tired, so I apologize because I'm sure the quality was even less good. I know, not great grammar. It was lower quality than many of my Not that my videos are wonderful in the first place. We talk about the CC and JT Amateur Hour podcast being where production values go to die. So we're not big on production values. We just want to put things out there and provide you some information and hopefully some entertainment. But last night's video was definitely not one of my more shining moments, and I was pretty tired when I recorded it because it was after our evening walk and it was close to bedtime. And I woke up at 5:30 yesterday, which did not help. But that was because I was so excited to get up and start writing. So really, the first takeaway of this is that I am more motivated to get to work on my project every day, especially since I have a very specific time frame. I'm not leaving it open-ended. I've already scheduled my edit for Battleborn Bride for the middle of May. So if I'm not done with my fast draft in the 2 weeks like I hoped, at least I will be close enough that when I do my edits on Restless Spirits 2, I can complete the fast draft hopefully in a short period of time after that and send it to betas, because it's going to go to the betas. I'm going to get that feedback and incorporate it. I may be incorporating it as it's being edited by my editors, which is something I've not done before, but the first round of edits are creative. So the person at the editors is doing a beta read, basically, but more of a professional paid beta read. And so when I get that back, I could incorporate all of that and have all of my beta edits done, and then go, let's see, when I send it back to the editors after incorporating that, it will be going into line edits. So that will be the more technical aspects of cleaning up the story. I am going to be talking to people who are, well, one person I hope to speak with is someone who has written historical young adult, and I'm hoping to get feedback from her. I am also hoping to get some feedback from a former coworker who is a longtime archivist and who has lived in both Nevada and Kansas, which are locations that are featured in Battleborn Bride. So I'm hoping to get her specific input, and we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I did things well enough that it passes muster with her. And then, of course, I usually will get feedback from JT because he can be I mean, he is close to me and my writing, so I don't think that's the best feedback, but he does point out some little things that maybe I should work on, and um, it will help gloss or help me polish some areas that may be a little bit lacking. So I will have probably 4 beta reads, with including my editor at Red Adept, for this round of book, and it'll be interesting to see how that feedback, the differences in that feedback based on the experience of the beta readers. Because, like I said, one is a professional beta reader, one is an archivist who is familiar with both of the areas, one person is someone who has written young adult historical, and then one is my husband who does pull his punches because he knows that I can be a little sensitive, but he does provide me some valuable feedback too, because he knows that more than anything else, I really need to get to the point. And I actually have a post-it over here that it was advice from him that just said, make your point. I do that up to a point, but since I am doing a historic uh, fiction, there will be some elements of romance, but it is young adult, so it won't be anything overtly romantic. It's more about the things that are happening in the time period and how my main character, Sarah Jane, is navigating them. And it will deal heavily with Carson City during the Constitutional Convention. It will have many references to Mark Twain for various reasons, along with a lot of other historic figures. Excuse me. There's that caffeine again. So today's update is not on a word count front. It's more of the unexpected benefit, I guess, of fast drafting. And I'm thinking so far, like I said, this is day 3 of 14 days for this project. I may tack on if I'm doing more fast drafting after I go back to edit Restless Spirits Book 2, I may tack that onto this playlist. I did create a new playlist for fast drafting, so these videos you will find in both my Life of a Writer 2026 and my fast drafting my work in progress. And I titled that playlist that way because I may try this again with another book in the future. I have Restless Spirits books 2 and 3 pretty much set in stone, so I don't need to fast draft those. But books 3 through 6, I may try fast drafting and then do rapid releases. We'll see how that goes because it could be interesting to try that process. I do know the basic story ideas I want to deal with in books 3 to 3. Okay, I'm slowing down. Books 3 to 6 of Restless Spirits. So I can create outlines for them and sit down and attempt the fast drafting process again. I would give myself more time. The reason I'm giving myself such a short turnaround for Battleborn Bride is that I want to publish this by October 31st in time for Nevada Day. I'm hoping it will be ready to go by September because I want to have author copies in hand and do events during October to promote the book and have early copies available at those events. And um, I have I have an idea maybe of adding some extra content into the back of the book this time around. I may actually add questions for book clubs and try to promote the book that way and see how it goes. So that is basically information that I can add in once the editing process is done because I won't need to really get an official edit of those questions. That would be expensive and really what I will need to do is determine what the best questions would be just to start discussion. My hope for this book is that it will be good for people who are interested in Nevada history, particularly students who are studying Nevada history. I know they probably study it around fourth or fifth grade, but this could be good for older students who maybe had that background, but they wanted to know more. And, just general history um, for anyone who is interested in the Civil War era, but what was happening in the West versus all the battles they're discussing in the East. And I do mention the battles, I don't go into great detail about them. They're mainly mentioned in the story just to, um, because the characters would have heard about what's going on back east, even in Nevada. And it's the character response to those battles that I'm talking about versus the battles themselves. So I'm hoping this all comes together really well. If you are following along, I will be interested if you check out the book to know how successful I've been in trying to meet my goals for this book. I really do hope it's going to be something that people will enjoy, but will also learn from. And like I said, unexpected benefit of fast drafting is how excited I am to get down to writing every day. And I would have already been at the keyboard for today, but JT and I recorded our weekly podcast, and we also have an event to go to this afternoon. So I thought, in the interest of making a hopefully more coherent video than I did last night, that I would discuss this unexpected benefit instead of providing you a word count update. I will be back tomorrow. Like I've said, I do have an appointment first thing in the morning. Once that's done, I may do a video and update you on any word count that I get done today. And that way I can record while I'm still fairly fresh because doing it afterward is a little difficult. And we will continue along with this process until about April 3rd. And then we'll see what happens after that. I will be continuing my Life of a Writer series because I do plan to continue doing a video a day this entire year. I'm actually finding that quite illuminating too. And if you are following along, I hope you are finding some, I don't know, if not helpful information, at least some inspiration because I am trying to be accountable to myself. I'm trying to be consistent, and I am trying to, I don't know, give myself permission to do something for myself. And that's something that I've had problems with. I think that's also a benefit of fast drafting. I told JT that I would be doing this in this time period. He's watched some of my videos and he knows to go off and do other things and try not to distract me. I have not mentioned it to my other family members, and I am proud of myself that I actually said that I wasn't available to do something, which I still feel a bit guilty about. But like I said, it's only a 2 week time frame. Then I'll be back to normal life doing what people are asking of me. And I think maybe future projects will be more like this, where I sit down maybe for a month and say, okay, I'm writing this book this month. You know, I could do 50,000 words in 30 days. I've proven that before because I used to participate in that challenge. So that may become more of a just a path forward for me so that I can keep my writing on track. Like I've said in previous videos, I do have a lot of projects that I want to get done. And if this works well, I could see that being a good way for me to get those projects done and then still have time. So if I'm spending a month, for example, writing a first draft, once that's done, I can take some time off and the book will go into editing or beta reading, whichever stage of the process I'm at. And I could be doing other things like maybe pursuing some of my other hobbies like graphic design and dancing and yard work and things like that without the guilt hanging over my head that I have unfinished projects. So that may be a way to get things worked out a little more easily. I feel that if I do it over the course of a month, I can set myself a specific word count goal for each day and still have time to do other things as well. I'll just be more focused during the time frame that I'm working. So I might say work in the mornings, get a specific word count. If I don't achieve that, I could go back after lunch to finish up what word count I need and then have the rest of the day free to do other things without feeling like I should be doing my writing. So if you are someone who is considering the fast drafting process and you're not sure if it's something you should try, I definitely recommend it because I guess, like I've said, I am not that kind of person. I normally edit and revise as I go along, but that can be problematic and I get bogged down in the details, which is something that JT is always reminding me of. So he is actually supportive of this idea because he knows how I am. And I think maybe this could be the way forward for me in the future as a writer for as long as I am able to write. Maybe I can actually think about getting all of these projects that I have floating around completed and out into the world and not feel like I'm sitting on a pile of partially finished manuscripts that I will never get done. So, thank you for joining me. I hope this made some sense. Like I said, I'm caffeinated this morning, so my mind's all over the place. But at least I'm not exhausted like I was last night. I think, I need to find the middle ground. But I do have to go off and do other things. JT is getting our podcast posted. I need to go get ready for public because we are going to an author event this afternoon to see Jade Griffin at the Riverside Gallery in Reno. As I'm posting this, obviously it's happening today. You may not watch this today, but if you are not able to go to the event, definitely check out Jade Griffin online. And we have done podcasts with her. So you can go to our websites at www.carsonhume.com or www.twomoorebooks.com to find our podcasts. The Two More Books site is the home of the Nevada Author Network, and Jade Griffin is a member of that. So definitely think you should check her out. She is a tabletop gamer and she does a lot of other interesting things as well. And she's a fascinating person. So definitely think she's worth your time, as are all of the other authors that we've featured on our podcasts. And we are hoping that more people will find our author friends and will find us as well. So thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope you are having a wonderful weekend. We are having beautiful spring weather here in northern Nevada. It is green and blue outside right now, And that is so nice after looking at bare trees for months on end. Seeing those leaves finally explode to life just brings me joy. And I think that also helps my mood and helps with my concentration when I'm working. So I hope that you get a chance to take in some nature to help calm and soothe your body and soul. I am Cassidy Carson, and this is The Life of a Writer. Take care.